paintball, a sport that has only been around for less than 40 years, has become an $800 million a year industry with over 10 million players in the United States and an annual growth rate of 13%, according to an article published by Sports Illustrated in 2004. For me, paintball has been a very big part of my life for the last 3 years. It is a very exciting and high-intensity sport that has been a great way for me to relieve stress and have fun. Today I'm going to talk with you about why paintball is such a unique sport by going over the equipment used, the types of field, and the actual gameplay. So there's a lot of equipment that is required to play paintball. If you look up here, you can see a typical gun setup, and this is actually my gun. And I'm going to go over the multiple parts. The part in the middle is the main part. It is called the marker. And basically this contains all the components that make the gun work. And there are two main types of markers, mechanical and electronic, according to a 2016 article published on ThoughtCode. The main difference between these two guns is that for mechanical guns, when you pull the trigger, physical mechanisms in the gun move that cause the gun to fire, whereas in electronic guns, when you pull the trigger, it sends a signal to a circuit board which tells the gun to fire. So because of this, electronic guns are much faster and they are much more accurate. The next part of the gun is the barrel, which attaches to the front end of the gun and is what you shoot the paintball through. The standard size for a barrel is 12 inches, but many people often upgrade to a bigger size like 14 or 16 inches because it helps to improve accuracy and range. The next part is the tank, which contains the gas that propels the paintballs. There are two types of gas that are commonly used in paintball tanks, and that is CO2 and compressed air. Compressed air is typically better because it is a lot more consistent and your shots are a lot more accurate compared to CO2. The last part of the gun is the hopper, which is the part on top. And it is what you load paint into, and it feeds paint into the feed net at the top of the marker and into the barrel where you then shoot them out. Besides the gun, there are other pieces of equipment that are also very important. The mask is the most important piece of equipment for paintball, according to an article published in 2005 titled Paintball 101. The mask is so important because it is what protects your face from getting shot, which is the most vulnerable part of your body when playing paintball. It also allows you to see, which is of vital importance. And the other piece of equipment up there is something called a pod pack. And what it is you wear it around your waist like a belt, and it allows you to take in extra paintballs, so that way when you run out of the paint in your hopper, you can reload during the game. So it's very helpful. Not only is there a lot of equipment for paintball, there are also multiple types of fields during paintball. And I'm going to go over the three main types. The first one is called a woods ball field, and this is a field that's basically just a huge section of forest that is used to play paintball, where the trees and other natural obstacles serve as like the things you hide behind. And these games tend to last a very long time, and they're very much focused on strategy, so they tend to be slower paced than other type of games. The next type of field is called a speedball field, and this is definitely the most common type of field. These fields are a lot smaller than woods ball fields, and they are made up of many inflatable bunkers that can easily be rearranged and that can be designed to be whatever shape you want. And these games are very high intensity and very fast paced, and they usually last sometimes only a couple minutes long. The last type of field is called a scenario field, and these fields can vary greatly in how they look because they're designed for a certain purpose. So if you want to do a certain game like capture the flag, or you want to do a themed game like a military style or something, you create certain fields that are designed for that. And this is an example of a field that was designed for like sort of like an urban warfare type thing with all the vehicles and like the structures. So it's sort of like a real life situation, like a type of city type thing. Now, because paintball is so high intensity and fast paced, it is important to have rules to make sure everyone stays safe while having fun. There are rules that vary depending on the type of game you're playing, but I'm going to focus on the main rules for recreational play on a speedball field. Usually there are around 4 to 12 people on each team, and the games can last anywhere from 1 minute to 15 minutes, depending on how evenly matched the teams are. The objective of the game is to eliminate all the players on the other team without your team getting eliminated. And so the way that you get out, which is pointed out in a 2016 article called Paintball Safety, Shoot to Thrill, is by getting shot anywhere on the body or on the gun. But to get out, the ball has to break. So if it just bounces off you, you're not out. And then when you get out, you're supposed to raise your gun up into the air so that way people know that you're out and they won't shoot you as you head to the back of the field. During a paintball game, there's usually 1 to 2 reps to make sure everyone stays safe and keeps their mask on, and also that people go out when they get shot. There's also a rule for safety regarding the speed of your paintball gun, and there's a limit of 300 feet per second, which is the max universally everywhere for the max speed, because beyond that can cause serious injury, so you don't want to go higher than that. In summary, paintball is a very unique sport because of how much variety there is in the game and how much equipment is required. And over the past 3 years, I've learned so much about paintball, having not known anything before I started playing. And now I hope that you guys know a little bit more about paintball, that you can start to appreciate it the same way I do. Thank you.